haven't seen them in decades. And our kids are about the same age. So she was a successful mom. I wasn't, but you know, I still love myself no matter what.
Awesome.
That's
We're being live streamed, everybody. We're on Facebook Live. You can share it on your Facebook now or later, whatever you like to do. This is it, you guys. This is the 49th Zoom military comedy show that I've done. And the bad news, thank you. And most of them I've done out of my own pocket, but now I have 3 sponsors. I have a lady that is here in Vegas named Dawn that has this company, The Giving Water. So check it out, thegivingwater.org. And they're about making sure the whole world has water. And then I have 2 private donors who are major help. So give it up for my sponsors making this happen.
Yay, sponsors!
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and today you guys watching, I know a lot, Robert Lepatkin is here watching, so that earned him a spot in the 50th Military Zoom Comedy Show. So you'll have to hit me up for that, Robert. I'd love to have you. You're so hilariously funny. So if you're watching this after the fact, which, you know, pretty much you're going to be because you're not here when we're doing it, that when you're watching this, I want you to do me one favor. You don't need to send me money on Venmo or Cash App. You can, but you don't have to. But what I want you to do, this is done so 24/7. Anybody that's a military person, active duty, or has been and is a veteran, that they can have 24/7 access to these shows that I've done, so they can laugh anytime for stuff that's done with the heart for the military. It's not all military comedy. You know, who wants to hear that? You just joined the military for that. But it's comedians with a heart for those that serve and have served. So some of the comedians today might choose to take on the challenge I put out there to say a military or veteran joke or quote an old one and give, you know, credence to the writer. But just know that we care about your service. We salute you for what you put your life on the line for us. Yes. And so I'm a proud Army veteran. We have, I'll get into my set in a minute, but if you're watching this, look over to the chats, because in there, each comedian has put their name as it appears on social media. And a few of them have actually put places where you can follow them and show up at their shows. So that would be cool. Just think how proud I would be if I heard from Janet or Anita or Bruce or Helene, even Robert Lepatkin, who's watching, but he's a comedian. If they wrote and told me that 6 people showed up at their comedy show because they heard about it on this show, I'd be so happy. Let's make them connections, you guys. Yeah. So a little bit about me, which is just perfect for you. A little bit goes a long way. Am I right, Bruce?
Absolutely. Quality, not quantity.
Yeah. I'm friends with all these people in real life, and we're all here to make you happy 24 hours a day. But I got to cover something with you first. When you hear my name, you know, I know you're thinking, 3 names, what in the heck? Why is she doing that? Why can't she just be Linda Smith? Well, turns out there was another Linda Smith in comedy. And she was a big booker at Caroline's in New York City. So I put my dad's name in the middle. So it's Linda Marcus Smith. And that's not funny, but it's true. But what is funny is that I tell people I'm going by 3 names to turn around history. Because back in time, people with 3 names were so bad. John Wilkes Booth. He makes me so mad because if you think about it, Janet, he was an actor and he got famous with 1 headshot. Before the internet, it's not supposed to happen that way. Yeah. I love to mess with New Yorkers like Bruce. You know, Bruce looks so tough, doesn't he? He's in shape. I wouldn't want to box with him in an alley. But the thing is I like messing with them like Vinny on the block kind of people, you know, acting all tough and, you know, and I will sashay up to them. I don't care how many of them are in a group. I'll sashay up and say, hey, hi, I'm Linda Marcus Smith, and I come from the Upper West Side too. And they're like, no. And I go, oh, not the good one, not the Upper West of New York. I come from Upper West Side of the US map, Oregon.
Huh.
Yeah, it really impresses them a lot. Yeah. I come from a little tiny town, Anita, that nobody ever hears of in the news at all. Portland, Oregon. Yeah. My town is now a punchline. I had to leave my town, not because of the rioting and not because of the widespread chlamydia. Turns out you can take it to go. Who'd have thought? Allegedly. Oh no, and Bob Zaney told me that that's exactly how you get widespread chlamydia, widespread. But I had to leave Portland because I don't know, shocker, I'm older, I'm aging. Anybody aging? That's my most relatable thing I ever said. I've been aging and I'm getting sick of the stupid compliments you get when you age. Can we talk? I go to get a cup of coffee. You'd think it's not difficult to just say you look beautiful, but it is. People ruin their compliments. Jim, my barista. Hey, Linda, you look so beautiful today. In fact, you look like you're aging backwards. Aging backwards? Since when, Jim, was Benjamin Button disease a sex symbol? You just reminded me I'm aging. Stop. Another time I go in and he said, you look so beautiful. You actually look today, you look amazeballs. Amazeballs? You're not Italian? Stop it. I can't even Google it. Nancy Grace taught us women that they're going to check your hard drive right after you kill your third husband, not Googling anything with balls in it. The worst thing that Jim, my barista, said making coffee for me was on a rainy day in Portland when it was raining cats and dogs sideways because the wind was blowing. My makeup was etched sideways across my face and I ducked in out of the rain, and he says, Linda, today you look like Marilyn. I'm like, oh, wow. I loved her in Some Like It Hot. She's beautiful. She was no, Manson, Marilyn Manson. Yeah, that happened to me. And those are the crazy compliments. I don't think I look like Marilyn, Anita. I don't think, I've been around the sun 72 times. I don't know that she made it to 40 years old. I don't think I look like her. I think I look like if Marilyn had had a sister and the sister had to pop out of a cake and sing happy birthday to Ted Kennedy. That's my doppelganger. But I am from Portland, it's true, and I do have a twin brother. So he's really my doppelganger. In fact, he wrote me one day and he said to me, Linda, I know we're not identical. He's so smart. He figured that out. He says to me, I know we're not identical, but you look just like me when I'm in drag. And I said, because you know how siblings are, right, Anita? I said to him, Fred, I was born 30 minutes before you. You better be nice because you might be my afterbirth.
Oh, God.
You got to keep them humble. That's my goal. Anyway, that's enough about me. I'm going to do something here right now with my computer. Hold on one tiny second. Hey, by the way, give it up for Bruce Lipsky today on the 1s and 2s. He's going to be highlighting and spotlighting you so that I don't forget to do that. And I'm going to have our first comedian come up, but I want to read you her intro as soon as I find where my photos are at. Once I find them, I'm good. Okay. Here we go with the intro for our first comedian after me. I hate that when a host will say the first comedian, hey, you are a comedian. What are you doing? When our next comedian. Okay, here we go with the introduction for our next comedian. She uses both observational and self-deprecating humor to express her outlook on everyday life. An older woman just trying to be relevant in a fast-paced world. She's been referred to as that annoying woman with a great smile. She's performed in Nashville, Los Angeles, San Diego, and New York City, and soon in San Clemente, I see in the chat. When she isn't performing, you can find her golfing, volunteering for NAMI, which is National Alliance from the Mentally Ill, I believe, right?
Yes.
And at any given takeout stand. You guys, welcome her to the stage right now. The one, the only one you need to hear with the name Janet Stewart right now. Give it up.
It is so fun to be here tonight. Thank you so much. And Linda Marcus Smith, thank you for what you do for the military. It's kind of personal to me. My dad was in the military, and I don't know if you can see this, but I have this wonderful picture of him that kind of brings tears to my eyes. Can you see that at all?
Yeah.
Can you?
Bring it back a little bit. Yeah.
Can you see him?
A little blurry. Yeah.
Oh, shucks.
Is he
Shucks.
naked?
Put it near
No,
your face.
Oh, okay. I
no.
can.
Anyhow, sorry that was blurry, but I have a picture of him in his uniform. And yes, he was in World War II. So that's my dad. He actually he received 2 Purple Hearts. So thank you, all the people in the military. So a little bit about me is that I actually was a flight attendant in the 80s. Anybody remember the 80s? I think so. Back then, it was so much about service, And I was about being serviced. You know, back then, you guys, you could do almost everything on an airplane. You could have sex with the pilots. You could drink and smoke. And you can use a call button whenever you wanted. That was our Tinder. Ding, ding, ding. You know, I flew for Delta, but I rode Bob. Yeah, Baltimore.
Oh.
And Al, Alaska. And Ned, New York City. Oh boy, oh boy. I was at this ladies' luncheon and they asked me about my career. And I said simply, I'm a sky slut. So because I could fly for free, I would take my daughters on little trips. And one time we went to Paris. And it was so odd because the whole street was lit up. Our hotel was lit up, lights everywhere. Well, come to find out, we were staying in the red light district. Yeah. So I like to think that I'm into culture, and I am. So I took the girls to a burlesque show, and they were 4 and 7. Now, my 4-year-old looked at me and she said, Mommy, what's that lady doing? Swimming in the martini glass. Well, she's thirsty. Mommy, why is her hair green? Oh, it's the olive. She is the olive. So anyhow, the next day we're walking around the Champs-Élysées, and unbelievably, it was filled with half-naked men on stilts, wearing sequin thongs. Yep, I had introduced them to a gay pride parade. All those little balls were just twinkling, twinkling, just lighting up the Champs-Élysées. I mean, viva la France, you guys. So anyhow, a little bit about being a mom. I was kind of a lousy mom. I cooked institutional style. That means vats of chili and pasta, chicken fingers, and I served it on a trough. I potty trained with M&Ms. Well, how else was I going to get through that mess without some chocolate? Took me 8 years to lose that 22 pounds. And well, it's a little sad. My daughters turned out to be diabetic. Now, I may have crossed the line when I made them my designated drivers. Hey, they were out of preschool. So I happened to have I really have a tough time with the computer. In fact, recently, I thought I was hacked. So I tried to change my password, but I couldn't match them up. So I'm blocked from Facebook for the next 4 years.
Wow.
And it was just a scam, just a little scam, something that my family does to me almost, once a month. But when I asked my daughters to help me with the computer, one would just look at me and turn around and walk away. And the other one was kind enough to come in, sit down at the computer and show me what to do. But then I blinked and I had no idea what she did. And she just looked at me and she said, "Mom, stop being so helpless. They're an adult. They're adults. But what I wish is that they were kids again and I could hang them by their little toes like I do to their dad now." Speaking of their dad, yeah, it was kind of weird how I met him. It was via my mother. So my mother had 13 hit and runs in a row, and he was her attorney. So my mom is cheap and frugal. So she offered me up as payment for her legal fees. Well, my mom is something, I have to admit. She's amazing. She's 92. She's had 5 facelifts. Yep, 5. And all I can say is, congratulations, Mom. Now you look 91 and a half. Well, she likes to call me. Yeah, I think I'm her hobby. And she said to me the other day, she said, "Oh, darling, I must tell you, I'm going to live till I'm 112. Over my dead body, Mom." And her name is Angel. Now, when being a kid, growing up with a mom named Angel, I mean, that is so confusing. But being an adult, it's damn annoying. And I realized in my adult life that, well, Satan was an angel once. She is, religious. Yeah. She takes communion every day, all day. And here in California, that is called the Jack and Coke Christian. So I met my husband. He was divorced. I was dreaming of marrying a divorced man. Don't give me a man that's never been married, for God's sakes. No, give me one that might know what he's doing after 6 times around.
Oh.
I just wanted that pressure taken off of me. And we are definitely opposites. It drives me crazy. He's so neat and tidy. Oh my God. Every morning I can't find my toothbrush because he's hidden somewhere. Yeah, away somewhere. So he came into the bedroom, and I came into the bedroom and found him color coding my lingerie. I know. I should be grateful he wasn't trying it on. Oh my God. I'm so afraid that he's going to look better in my panties than I do. I remember when we were first married, I went into the bedroom myself. I spent a lot of time in there. It was really, really lovely. And I tried on his jeans. Oh my God, they fit me. God, I should have known that I was in trouble right then and there. But I get to contribute to our marriage, and how I do that is I'm a liar. He doesn't like it when I lie. So I said to him, well, why do you care? Hello, you're an attorney. You lie, you get paid to do it, Roger. Moi, I do it pro bono. Yeah. Well, I am very concerned lately that he loves the dog more than me. Oh, God. He just plays with that dog, buys the dog toys. And he bought the dog the dress I wanted. Last week, he paid for her Botox. What's next? A butt lift? Now, I went into the kitchen, and there was that little dog looking at me with those beady little eyes, as if to say, oh, you again? The one that can't get my kibbles and bits right. Oh, you don't cook the chicken that goes on top of it. Seriously, my husband, he cooks for the dog. Well, actually, he cooks for both of us because I can't cook. He was so surprised after we got married, because my mom's a great cook, but he was so surprised that my idea of cooking was fast food. And when he complained, I just told him, oh, hello, you are getting Taco Bell on China plates. So he really spoils the dog. And I said to him, you spoil that dog. And he said to me, well, if you'd stop talking, sleep in the garage, I could spoil you too. Oh my God. Then I hear him talking to the dog. Hey, baby, come to daddy. Well, he hasn't talked to me like that in so long. He used to call me daddy. So recently I bought my mother cremation package. I was thinking positive. And I came home and Roger said, we can have your mom's body donated to science. Pickup and delivery is free. And I looked at him and I said, Roger, this plan is not like it's Costco for the dead. Well, that didn't go over, but I like it. So anyhow, my daughters do not like the way I drive. Mom, you almost ran over Dad. I know. I try every single day, but he's too fast. So he reads the obituaries every day. It's so depressing. I don't know why he starts his day off like that. And he wants his to read like a literary masterpiece. I'm serious. I told myself that I will keep it simple. The cheap dude died. And then on his headstone, I'll just put that. So in spite of everything, being married isn't easy. And his idea of an apology, I'm sorry, but when you ask me to put the dishes away and then you do it yourself, well, that's passive aggressive. And you're banging the pots and pans, Janet, just give me the silent treatment. And then you declare that I'm lousy in bed. That's not true. You wouldn't know. We haven't had sex in years. I said, that is not true. I have sex and it's pretty good, Roger, when you're not home. So I just can't believe that I can't find things anymore. It is so tough. Keys, my phone. Oh God. And yesterday it was my eyebrows. Yeah. So I think that these designer dogs are so weird. Why can't a husky be a husky and a poodle just be a damn poodle, and a chihuahua, look like a drowned rat? I mean, why do people do this? We don't have fish cheese for dinner, followed by chocolate sardines and broccoli ice cream. Although my husband would eat the ice cream. So my daughter rescued a dog from Mexico. That dog crosses the border and now she holds it hostage in her purse. I know what that dog's thinking. I forgot what the dog is thinking. Liberation, liberation. And with that, liberation to all. Thank you very much. I'm Janet Stewart. Thank you again, Linda Marcus Smith.
Hey,
Yay, Janet Stewart. Follow her as Janet Stewart Comedian, and you can see her perform. She's going to be performing, let me go back up there. She's going to be performing at Knucklehead, San Clemente, California. Do you know the date offhand, Janet?
25th.
May 25th.
I'll be
Awesome.
hosting, Linda.
Yay! Give it up for Janet.
I
Janet
know.
Stewart.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now coming to the stage from her car somewhere in New York City, the lady who was friends with all of the Beatles back in the day, and she wrote jokes for the amazing Joan Rivers, and even had one of her jokes told by Joan Rivers on the two of her jokes told by Johnny Carson on the by Joan Rivers. Never mind. Let her say her own story. Give it up for right now for
Thank you.
Helene Witt.
Thank you. Thank you. I wouldn't say I knew all the Beatles, but I mean, I was there, put it that way. I was there. I thank you. I'm not invalidating what Linda said. I just like to tell you which two I annoyed more than the other two. I'm only kidding, partly. Anyway, I wanted to tell you that Joan Rivers, what Linda said is also partly true. Let me explain. There was a lady who lived upstairs from me when I lived in the apartment, and her name was Joan Rivers, and I wrote for her because her granddaughter was at camp, and I wrote letters for her. She didn't speak English too well. I'm only kidding. That's a joke. So I wanted to tell you what happened when I wrote one of the jokes for Joan Rivers. It was income tax day in 1986. Don't Google it. It was approximately then. And she comes out, as she did when she hosted, and she said, "It's income tax day." And my accountant is dancing around the office singing, "Let's get fiscal, fiscal," like FISCAL. And nobody laughed, just like this. It was exactly the same. So she said, She
Ah.
said, let's get fiscal. And she found it necessary to say the joke a third time. She went, let's get fiscal. That was going to be the big joke because she came out with that joke, first joke. So I bombed on Johnny Carson 3 times that night. I'm so proud of myself. And you could see Joan Rivers and I telling that story on a movie, a Peacock special called Good Timing. I'm proud of that. The other joke I told, I'm saying it wrong, but it was, thank you, Janet. It was something like this. It went, in Los Angeles, 1 out of every marriage ends in divorce. So I put my money in the Infidelity Savings Bank. And I have that on video too. I'm very proud of it. I sold her 10 jokes and I signed a 6-page contract, said I will never tell the jokes again. So the other 8, I think I'll tell on my deathbed, unless you go to Joan Rivers' Dewey Decimal System piece of furniture where all her jokes are. Maybe it's in there. In my house, I have framed a letter from Sabrina from her office. If you used to watch her reality show, you see Sabrina, and it says, "Dear Helene, I'm sorry to tell you that your jokes here that I'm sending you back were behind Joan's cabinet, and we moved to Palisades." What's that called? Palisades, California, whatever it's called. And we moved and your jokes were behind the cabinet. So here they are back again. Those really made a lasting impression on that office. But I think just the fact that that happened is pretty funny. So I saved it and framed it. Linda, did you see that in my house? Okay, then I'm lying. I'm only kidding. So I want to say we're on Park right here. I mean, maybe Anita would find it interesting. It says authorized vehicles only, and there's a star, and it says consul, diplomat, license plate. So I'm parked where the diplomats in New York City Park on Park Avenue. And then there are 2 mermaids statues, right? 3, 4. There are 4 mermaid statues here. So that'll get me on Broadway. I'm still paying $25 to go to the comedy club to watch a show tonight. But I want to tell you a story that happened when I first went to teach in New York City. Now, I was graduating college and they called me to substitute teach before I had a degree. So you can imagine how naughty these first graders must have been to let someone substitute teach for $100 a day in 1971 before I even finished college. Yes, Janet. So I was at a hippie party. We used to go to these parties, sit on the floor, and they'd pass a joint around, and then they passed around Quaaludes, like what Bill Cosby gave girls, but not then. Well, maybe then. So they passed around the Quaaludes, and I wanted to be cool, but I knew I was going to go have my first day of teaching the next day. So I put my Quaalude that they gave me in my Midol jar, and I put it on top of the cotton ball so that I would remember it was there. So I walk into the school and these first graders were ignoring me, and I never taught in my life, even though I had the degree almost. I had no idea what it would be like, and they were 6 years old, and it was like they were on 125th in Lexington, which is Manhattan, Anita, uptown, and they were like, "Hey, T-Bird, what up?" and slap me 5, and they had their own little gang in the classroom. And then this boy was breaking the sharpener, and I just couldn't control them at all. And they were so young. So what happened was I survived till lunchtime. It was PS 160. It's a true story. It was in Queens. And then after lunch, I felt I had cramps. So I went for my Midol and I opened the jar, and right on top of the cotton ball, there's a Midol. I took it. And then all of a sudden, 20 minutes later, I still had cramps, but my fingers were tingly. And I remembered my friends told me when you take a Quaalude, your fingers are tingly. So I couldn't talk. I couldn't walk. I was stoned. I still had the cramps, but I had taken the Quaalude. So what am I going to do? I'm teaching my first day. I couldn't talk. This little girl was a goody two shoes. One girl in the class could read. She was like a teacher's pet type. And I said, "Green eggs and ham, read the Dr. Seuss book." And she stood up like a real teacher's pet and she went, "Sam, I am." And I went, "Wow, man, she's reading to the class like a teacher." She goes, "Shut up, I'm trying to read." And then the books were stacked up. Do you know what a book is, Janet? It's something they used to have in school, and the books are stacked up because it's the end of the year. Yeah, and I'm like bouncing through the stacks of books like a human pinball machine, and I just could. So remember the boy who was breaking the sharpener? What do? I go, wow, man, we have an engineer in the class. I just totally changed. Well, when you teach naughty children, you have to take them to this closet to get their coats and their homework one at a time. Not me. I go, everyone get out of here. And I'm just lucky that they made me the principal of PS 160 in September.
Uh-huh.
But they never let me teach there again. So that's my time. I want to tell you that cute little story. I'm just lucky I got to teach for 20 years after that. Boy, oh boy. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
hey,
Yeah. Great
Hey,
stuff.
Elaine. Hey.
Yeah. Helene's always got tons of
Oh,
material.
Elaine.
I think she's written more jokes than Joan Rivers in her lifetime. She's got jokes. Tell them all the places where your jokes are at. You wrote thousands on that one website, and then you write them for people's birthdays.
Okay, so for Tom Cotter, I wrote 4 jokes. And then on something called Comedy Wire, every day you just see news ideas and then you just put a blurb under it. And before you knew it, I had 8,000. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much, Elaine Witt, you guys.
And then the greeting card Bruce and I wrote.
Thank you so much. Now we have our featured comedian coming to the stage all the way from the Inland Empire of California. Let me read the intro she supplied us. Anita Milner has appeared in bars, pool halls, taverns, wineries, and distilleries all across the country. She even performed at many of them. I might have read that wrong. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
She's appeared. She might have performed. Gee, I'm slow. I'm slow. Welcome, the grandma of comedy, Anita Milner.
Thank you. Oh,
Hey,
thank you.
Anita.
Yeah, don't ever ask me to write my own introduction. That doesn't work. Anyway, Linda was so sweet. She told me before the show that she gave me that special good luck wish that one professional comic gives to another: break a hip. And I always appreciate that. People always have 2 questions about me. How old is that woman? And what does she do? Well, I'm 87 years old, and on a good day, I get dressed. And, today, I'm all buttoned up. I don't have on my fuzzy pink slippers. And on a really good day, the paramedics don't show up. And I am a widow. My husband died a few years ago after 49 years of marriage.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the only way he could escape.
Uh,
Coward. And he was a Marine. Yeah, and I noticed Janice changed her clothes. Are you wearing the same thing we did during the act?
Mhm.
Well, I must have lost my mind. What's left of it? What's left of it? Anyway, I don't want to talk much about COVID, but I do have to tell you that my oldest grandson was asking me about COVID. And of course, I had said to him, at my age, I've lived through more epidemics than you've even thought about. I've lived through polio epidemics and flu, all kinds of flu, childhood diseases. I've lived through it all. And my grandson said, well, which one was the worst? Which one was the worst, Grandma? What was it, like the frogs or the boils or the lice or the fleas? And I said, I don't know, honey, but the next time I see Moses, I'll ask him. Smart ass kid. In fact, I kind of think the one about the death of the firstborn son wasn't such a bad idea. But so I'm alone now. Well, I'm not really alone. I'm pretty sure my 17-year-old grandson is living with him. And you know how it is. You never see him. You never see him, but the guest closet's full of his filthy clothes, and the guest bathroom is full of male cosmetics, and I have no food. And I'm pretty sure I used to have a car. So I'm pretty sure he's there. I find with a young person in the house, you have to learn a whole new language. Not that they speak, they text. I talk, he texts. I don't even know if his voice has changed. For all I know, he sounds like Donald Duck or worse, Donald Trump. But the other day, I nearly threw him out of the house. He didn't tell me. He's standing in front of me, texting me. And he texted me that he was going to go in the bedroom and Skype some girl. I said, not in my house, you don't. Not without protection. And, but he told me he was going to use that Norton antivirus. So what could I do? Okay. And now he's into that manscaping. You know, that's where the guys shave all the hair off their bodies. Start to worry a little bit about him. Probably a good thing I let him Skype that girl. But the other day he came running out of the bathroom, stark naked. Well, not stark naked. He had a towel around his waist. Poor, wet, hairless little thing. He just looked like a wet chihuahua. And he's texting, Grandma, hurry, come quick. The tub won't drain. It's all full of hair. And I said, OMG, LOL, WTF, because, you like to speak their language. Anyway, I went in the bathroom, looked like he shaved Sasquatch in that tub. I said, the next time you're going out in the backyard with a hose and a bottle of Nair. That's it. Let's see, what else? Oh, the other day, the unthinkable happened. He saw me naked. That ought to keep him celibate until he's 30. Or turn him. I don't know. I was pretty upset about it, and I figured, this is something I need to talk to his parents about. And so I did. They weren't that upset. In fact, they seemed rather pleased. They said, well, if it starts to wear off, flash him again. So, but that's enough about him. I'm sort of sick of him. I just hate to watch the news anymore, don't you? Everything is so depressing. Everything, and hell, everything gives you cancer. You can get your cell phone from your microphone, from your electric blanket, from your microwave. And I think it's just pretty depressing to realize at my age, the most exciting thing I've ever done is turn on my electric blanket. They also say you could get that microwaves make men sterile. I can't get that out of my head. Microwaves make men sterile. How do they find that out? I mean, what man do any of you know who would consent to putting the boys into a microwave? And then how would you shut the door? And then there's that little rotating thing that goes around. I mean, it might not make you sterile, but it sure as hell would make you impotent, wouldn't it? Yeah. The world's really strange. People used to ask my husband and me, what's the secret of being able to stay married so god awful long? I said, well, there's a couple of reasons, which we all know. One, you stay together because of the children. Neither one of us wanted custody. And then the other thing is that, when we got married on our wedding night, my husband and I promised each other we would never go to sleep without first settling an argument. I kept that sucker awake until he said he was sorry. I didn't have a job. I had all the time in the world. What is the 49th anniversary anyway? Does anybody? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. No, the 25th is what? Silver. Silver. The 40th is ruby. I know because I didn't get one. And then the 50th, if he'd hung around, would have been gold. My husband claimed the 49th was petrified wood, but you know how men tend to brag. I'd have voted for Play-Doh myself or silly putty. I don't know. But the worst thing about being married to my husband was the snoring. Absolutely incredible. I did not get a decent night's sleep in 49 years. The dogs ran off in 87. And I don't know about other ladies out there, but the only way I could get through the nights somehow was to fantasize about ways to kill him. And now that he's gone and the police have closed the case, I think I can share with you a couple of my favorite fantasy that helped me get through the night lying next to that man. I would fantasize about dropping those Kraft miniature marshmallows into his mouth, one at a time, until that sound just got less and less, and finally stopped altogether. Lord, I love that fantasy. Sometimes after that fantasy, I had to smoke a cigarette. And what made it even worse, he had that sleep apnea. You know, that's that disease where you quit breathing for several moments at a time. And I'd lie there next to him some nights and I'd think, well, I wonder if he really is dead this time. Then I think, you know, I'll call 911 in the morning. I could use a good night's sleep. See, what else? Oh, my husband and I had two semi-beautiful daughters, Bigfoot and Swamp Thing. I am so glad those girls are grown. I do not want to be raising kids today for anything. I have a neighbor down the street, has a 15-and-a-half-year-old son, came home last week with his nipples pierced to match his fiance's, who had had his done the week before. Not a happy woman, not a happy woman. But before my husband died, we were talking, and I guess he was trying to be kind. And he said to me, you know, you wouldn't look so bad for your age if it weren't for all those wrinkles. I said, sweetheart, tonight when you're snoring all by yourself in the guest room, consider this. These are not wrinkles. These are laugh lines. And he said, I don't think I ever noticed your neck laughing. Now you know why he's dead. Thank you.
Hey.
Oh, give it up for Anita Milliner. Yay.
Woo!
Woo! That's right. So in the chat, I'm saying it again, you can follow her on Facebook, Anita Milliner, and she's performing all over the Inland Empire, probably California. She's available. You can book her. She's hilarious.
I'm performing in a winery tonight. So I just,
What's the name of the winery?
huh?
What's-
It's in Temecula. It's the Fazeli Cellars Winery, but it's sold out. So
Well, you can go outside and get a
we love to
picture
hear
with
that.
her.
Comics love to hear that.
Yes, it's a big deal. Way to go, Anita. Give it up. for
Yeah.
her.
Thank you, Linda. It was fun.
It was so fun. And
Now
like I
can
said,
relax. Now I can relax.
yes. And these videos are going to go to a lot of military and veteran places. So that's the main focus of this, even though there's only Robert Lepatkin in the audience as a non-performer. Don't worry about it. People are going to get this. So now it's time for our illustrious headliner. Yeah, that's right. Let me read you the intro that he supplied me. After a 35-year career in the fitness and wellness field, Bruce is well positioned to know that laughter really is the best medicine. Bruce's stand-up has been seen at Dangerfields, the Broadway Comedy Club, Greenwich Village Comedy Club, the Comic Strip Live in New York City, as well as Governor's, the Brokerage, and my father's place on Long Island. And when I say my father's place, I mean Governor's Comedy Club is my father's place, not my father's place. Give it up right now for your headliner, Bruce Lipsky. Woo!
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, this is fantastic. You know, we talk about military and everything. My father, serves as well. And I have a niece who is active duty currently. But somebody always asks me, Bruce, have you ever served? And I actually served for 7 years, 1976 to 1983. So people said, did you ever encounter any dangerous situations? You know what it's like telling a woman that we've run out of end-cut prime rib on a Sunday afternoon? Let me tell you, that's dangerous stuff. Tell somebody that you pull away their salad plate too fast and they go chop your fingers. That's dangerous stuff. Yes, I served tables for 7 years while going to college and graduate school. Well, I can appreciate, what it's like to be put in the face of danger. Well, anyway, my father is 93 years old right now, and he called me the other day and he said, Bruce, guess what? They just opened up a new comedy club in my neighborhood. I said, that's fantastic, Dad. What's it called? He said, Stand Up MRI. I said, Dad, did you check it out? He said, yeah. I checked it out, and I don't think they ever close. I said, why? He said, the sign always says open MRI. My father had to go for his annual physical recently. And so he's at the doctor's office, and I get a call from his doctor. He said, Mr. Lipsky, I'm concerned about your dad. He showed up to my office carrying a small chair. I said, did you ask him why? He said, yeah. He said, that was his stool sample. I said, it kind of makes sense because lately he's been complaining of hard stools. I just hope I don't inherit his hard stool. But the doctor said, I'm really worried. Let's get him to the hospital for some tests. So walking down the hallway in the hospital, I go put my arm around my dad and I said, don't worry, Dad, I got your back. He looks at me and says, Bruce, I don't mind you got my back, but how about taking my inflamed prostate? So now we go into the elevator, go up to the third floor, and this technician wheels in this machine with all these tubes and hoses. My father looks at him and says, Mister, you're not going to hook me up to that machine today, are you? The guy says, I hope not for your sake. It's a carpet cleaner. But after the hospital, I always like to take my parents out. And they love going to breakfast at a place called Friendly's. Everybody's heard of Friendly's. When my parents go out, they're never friendly. They're lukewarm at best. And they don't go out to eat, they go out to complain. So we're sitting having breakfast, and my mother calls over the manager. And she says, Mister, it's bad enough my toast is burnt and my eggs are running. But how come you don't serve coffee in those nice brown Friendly mugs anymore? The manager said, lady, we had to stop because people kept on stealing them. I said, oh my, I can't believe this. I only needed one more to complete my set. Now I have a mother with a mug shot for being a mug thief. And it's so hard taking them out. It was anniversary was coming up, so I figured I'd take them to a fancy restaurant. We're sitting down in a restaurant. My mother starts to complain. She says, Bruce, this soup is cold. It's disgusting. It's tasteless. I said, Ma, that's the finger bowl. Ordered her dinner. When it came out, she started eating. She slammed her fork down and said, this is the worst Greek salad I've ever eaten. I said, Ma, how many times did I tell you, you don't order a Greek salad at a Chinese restaurant? I'm afraid I'm going to turn into my parents. I'm gonna be 68 years old soon. I looked in the mirror the other day. I look like a rusted old Buick. This body is totally shot and out of alignment. My rear end is making funny sounds. My hose leaks. And my ball joints have all dried out. I said, uh-oh, I better get Mako. Mako says, oh no, you better get Medicare. Used to be in my house, if I had a leak, I'd call my plumber. Now I call my urologist, and he's $50 cheaper. I remember I used to go to the bars on Friday and Saturday nights. I used to do Jell-O shots. Now I do gel knee shots. It's gotten so bad that even my fine china is bone on bone. I used to love dancing. I used to go to Studio 54, the premier discotheque in the world. I go out on the dance floor, I'd see a hot woman like Anita. I say, go, babe, let's go bust a move. Now, I'm afraid to take my wife dancing. I may bust a hip. My wife said to me the other day, Bruce, let's get down tonight. I said, honey, I don't mind getting down, but how the hell am I going to get up? I'm starting to forget things. I swear my foam mattress has a better memory than I do. It's so difficult. And I used to have a full head of hair. A full head of hair. I used to part my hair. Now my hair's just departed. I used to use a product to keep my hair stiff called Vitalis. Now if I want to keep things stiff, I depend on Cialis. It's getting tough. My wife even said to me, Bruce, lately when I talk to you, you don't seem to be paying attention to me. You have loss of hearing? I said, no, I got loss of listening. But I was also a photography buff. I used to develop film using my Polaroid. Now the only thing I'm developing are hemorrhoids. It's hard. I used to be a world traveler. I used to go all over the world. Now I just travel in continent.
Oh,
But as you get older, you got to stay in shape. You got to exercise. I started an exercise program, but I only exercise late at night between the hours of 3 and 5 in the morning. I run sprints from the bedroom to the bathroom. My wife calls it my fleet of pee. Good news is I got my time down under 6 seconds. Unfortunately, I only can hold my pee for 4.2. Oh, I tell you, it's tough when you get older. It really is, but it's okay. My wife is a fitness nut. She takes something called goat yoga. You may not have heard of this. This is when you're in a yoga studio, you're laying on the mat, and all these horny, hairy creatures are running around, and goats too. But my wife finds it very therapeutic and relaxing, especially when the goat jumps in her back and licks her ears. I said, wait a second. When I tried that last night, you slapped me and threw me out of the bedroom. And now you pay a goat to do it? Says, well, he has fresher breath and better technique. That's an insult. You know, I've been married over 35 years, and everybody says marriage is an institution. But so is Bellevue Sanatorium. My friend works for Bellevue. And I asked him, you know, when somebody goes crazy, do you still put them in those straitjackets? I said, wait a second. You got to be politically correct now. You can't say straitjacket anymore. I said, what do you say? He says, shrink wrap. But I'll tell you, it's hard being married. Lately, my marriage has been like my savings account. Very little interest. I try and spice things up, but my bedroom's been like Watergate lately. Every time I want to do an investigation, she goes deep undercover. So I told my wife, let's play some games. Let's have some fun. Do some role play. Okay, spice things up. We'll play some games. I said, let's play some secret agent games. I said to her, you can call me James, as in James Bond. She said, you can call me Dr. No, as in no friggin' way. I'll tell you, when I first met my wife, our love was infectious. Now our relationship is just chronic. And the research says, listen, the research says, as you get older, your skin gets thinner, which I find weird because after 35 years of marriage, I developed a much thicker skin. But she does try hard, my wife. I gotta give her props for that. We had a party the other day, beautiful party, and she served finger foods. Yeah, finger foods. I told her, these things are delicious, honey. But next time, you gotta clip the nails. Oh, man, I mean, she said, Bruce, you think I'm running a 5-star restaurant in this house? I said, apparently you are, because every time you cook, I have reservations. And now she's into this organic stuff. Got me to the store to buy some organic produce and vegetables. Okay. So I go to the store. I never bought this before. I asked the guy there, how can I tell which things are organic? He says it's simple. If they're half the size and twice the price, then they're organic. I said, I think I drive one of those. It's called a Prius. But she wanted organic kale. I don't know what kale is. So I asked the guy, what is kale? He says, think of kale as lettuce's bitter cousin. I said, well, I understand that. I have one of those. She's 55 years old, been divorced 3 times. She must be kale. But kale, my wife says, is a superfood of 2022, right? 2022 superfood. But I don't find kale as a superfood, you know? What's a superfood? Anita, back then we didn't have superfoods, we just had food. But to me, kale is like kryptonite. You know, Superman can leap tall buildings in a single bound. Kale will clean out my colon in a single serving. But for me, the superfood of 2023 is Chipotle. Chipotle, the Mexican takeout place. And my son said, wait a second, Dad, it's not Chipotle, it's Chipotle. I said, great, you got a 30 on your Spanish midterm. You're going to tell me about how to say Chipotle or Chipotle? Yeah, how you pronounce it, but I really do love the pulled pork for distance. And, you know, I was saying marriage, been married a long time. It's great. But things change over the course of time. After 30 years, things started to get loose and lumpy. I'm talking about our mattress, okay? So my wife went and said, let's get a new mattress. So she went online and bought an avocado mattress. An avocado mattress. She says she's going green. She's not going green. She's spending my green. $4,000. She says it's sustainable and organic. I don't want sustainable in the bedroom. I don't want organic in the bedroom. I want orgasmic in the bedroom. And after 2 weeks, things started to smell rotten. I'm talking about the mattress, not my wife. Let's get it straight now, okay? I said, I feel like I'm sleeping on a bed of guacamole with the pit still in it. I said, what am I, a taco? A fajita? What's next? Sour cream pillows? And then she got one of those adjustable beds, those Craftmatics. I learned not to piss my wife off when you have one of those. We had a little fight before going to bed. And I came back after brushing my teeth, and the bed was in the shape of a V. I said, I can't get into the bed here. She said, that's not the only V you're not getting into tonight. So I guess I wasn't going to bring her Taco Bell. It's tough, man. We turned our Tempur-Pedic into her Tempur-Pedic. Oh boy, what can I tell you? You know, and I have a son. Okay, a son. I remember he was 13 years old. I caught him playing with a deck of cards with naked women on it. I said, son, what kind of games do you play with? He said, lots of solitaire. Fast forward, he's 27 years old. In my house, I have this huge vault where I keep all my family possessions and valuables. I opened it up the other night, and I caught him and his girlfriend naked. I said, what are you guys doing in here? He said, Dad, we'll follow your advice. We're practicing safe sex. So I don't like this combination. This vault is for our family jewels. Your pants are for your family jewels. Keep them in there. During this whole pandemic, my wife got obsessed with buying on Amazon. I don't know if anybody here buys on Amazon. Let me tell you, we get so many packages. They just rezoned my front porch as a loading dock. Boxes are stacked up to the roof. I'm afraid to pull anything out. It's like I'm playing a game of Jenga for giants. I'm constantly going from the first floor to the second floor, back up and down again. I feel like a personal delivery monkey. She calls me her Amazon primate. She has vanity license plates now. Hers is A prime. Mine is A primate. And my birthday was coming up and she said, what would you like? I said, how about a forklift? A weight belt, maybe a helper. We get so many packages, they just rezoned my front porch. Again, there's a loading dock. Twice they did it. We got so many things. The county came in twice. They had to build a separate area there. We're the only house in the block that has its own zip code. We even have valet parking for the FedEx guys. And my wife just discovered something new called Zappos. Do you know what Zappos is? That's the online shoe retailer. You can purchase 100 shoes there, and if you don't like them, you can send them back free of charge. We had a wedding to go to. My wife ordered 37 pairs of shoes. The FedEx guy was parked there so long, he got a ticket for loitering. He was constantly going back and forth from his truck to my front porch. He got his 10,000 steps in just on my delivery. But he left everything on the porch, and I had to bring everything into the house, and I was totally exhausted. I finally told my wife, your feet are killing me. But what really worries me, I think she's having an affair with the UPS guy. Yesterday, she painted in the driveway reserved for UPS. And I'm thinking about this, and every time he comes over, she's always bragging about how big his package is. And now she's paying extra for backdoor delivery. What's that all about? I'm starting to think my fulfillment center is inadequate. And now she's also into fantasy role. She handed me a box, and in the box was brown shoes, shorts, and a clipboard. So now anytime I want to have sex, I got to sign for it. This is making my family life miserable. The only smiles in my house now are on the cardboard boxes. But we love doing things together, my wife and I. Broadway shows, nice dinners, the UPS guy. And I think Janet was talking earlier about pets, designer pets. We had a cat for 23 years. And when this cat passed away, my wife decided she doesn't want any more cats. She wants to get a dog. But she couldn't just get a regular dog. She got one of those designer dogs, spent $4,000 on this dog. And she carries it around like a Gucci handbag right under the arm. Except the Gucci handbag only costs $2,000 and doesn't need to walk 6 times a day. And she's named this dog Fabio. Fabio. She dresses him in silk pajamas and a gold collar. But I don't call him Fabio. I call him Houdini. Because with 2 wags of his tail, he's made my sex life completely disappear. And now sex is just a grand illusion without the handcuffs. Anita, you know how hard it is to perform in bed when there's a panting tongue, a wet nose, and the smell of bad breath? And a dog?
And a dog. Wait a minute.
My dog is completely taken over my bedroom. He lays on my side of the bed, on my pillow, next to my wife, snoring and farting. What do you think I've been doing for the last 35 years? I think I've been replaced. I'm starting to wonder who the man of the house is. I'm afraid to kick him out of the bed. I may get bitten, scratched, and growled at by my wife. And I have the only dog in the world that has restless leg syndrome. Like this, kicking me and jabbing me. And it's so uncomfortable. I haven't slept in 3 weeks. I don't know if he's dreaming about kicking me or the UPS guy out of the bedroom. It's so difficult. And the way she treats this dog, she serves him the science diet. I get the science fiction diet. Serves me canned spaghetti and meatballs. All I know, the more canned food she serves me, the more time I spend in the can. And this dog just had his physical. His cholesterol 37 points below mine. He's not walking around pre-diabetes. But the good news is we both tested negative for fleas. You know, it's interesting because my wife had been ill recently, taking the doctors and everything. And she, in 1 week, had to have a CAT scan and a PET scan. So I said to the vet, I mean, doctor, what's next? Checks for fleas? I said, while you're at it, the way she's been acting, why don't you check her for distemper? She said to the doctor, while you're at it, why don't you check him for my foot and his mouth disease?
Mhm.
And my father was always a philosopher. He used to say, Bruce, you should always put your best foot forward. But who knew my best foot forward would have the gout? And my second best foot forward would be in my mouth.
Mm.
It's so hard. But you have a dog, there's a lot of sacrifices you have to make. And I understand that. The other day, my wife said to me, Bruce, could you take me to the store? I want to get some wool. I said, why? She said, I want to knit a sweater for the dog. I said, wait a second. I asked you 2 weeks to sew a button on. You said you had no time. And now you'll make designer clothes for the dog? Custom clothes? She said, well, he's a designer dog.
Mhm.
But I tell you, it's getting rougher. Now we only go to restaurants that are pet friendly. Maybe you can understand this, Janet.
Mhm.
We were at the restaurant the other day. The waiter came out and said, okay, handed us a menu. My wife said, my husband and I are going to split a burger deluxe. And the waiter said, what about the dog? And she says, give me the special menu. She looks on the special menu. She says, Fabio will have the salmon platter. $29.95. I said, what does he need the salmon platter for? She said, well, it's good for his coat. He doesn't need a coat. You're knitting on a sweater. And Fabio didn't finish his food. Like an idiot, I'm carrying out his people bag. And he left his mark at the front door. And in closing right now, the weirdest thing about pet owners, I don't know if you've experienced this, we recently got invited to a bark mitzvah. A bark mitzvah, the coming of age of a dog. I had to listen to the owner's father give a recital, something called an off Torah for 20 minutes. I said to my wife, I don't mind going to this party. I'm not touching a thing if it's catered by Petco. Thank you. My name is Bruce Lipsky. I hope you enjoyed everything, and God bless all the military.
Yes, thank you, Bruce. Yay, that was fabulous. Somehow Helene's video got turned off and she couldn't be back on here to show you how much she was laughing, but she was telling me. Robert Lepatkin for being here through the whole show to support. Let's go through the name of all the people that performed for you today. I started off by hosting. I'm Linda Marcus Smith. Next person who performed, wave when I say your name, was the amazing Janet Stewart. Wave to everybody. There you go. After that was Helene Witt. She's in the bottom black box because her video got shut off somehow. She was amazing in her car, traveling across New York City doing this. She's amazeballs. Then we had the incomparable, amazing Anita Milner. Yes.
Hey, Anita.
And then our headliner out of New York. You love him, you know him. He never stops. He's got so many jokes. Bruce Lipsky.
Hey,
Thank you,
Bruce.
thank you.
Fabulous. And thanks
Love you
again,
all.
Robert Lepatkin, for being our only audience member. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robert.
And let's
Thank
thank
you.
Linda Marcus Smith.
Well, that's a given. Yeah, it's amazing. As they say, amazeballs, better than amazeballs.
Thank you. And Bruce, I
Amazeballs.
couldn't have done it without you helping with the buttons. Thank you so
Oh.
much, Bruce.
I always know how to press Linda's buttons. I know.
Ah.
All right.
What'd you think, Robert?
Very funny. Good show.
Let's get
Wasn't it
on to the next
great?
one.
Yes, you'll be on in June. I'll send you info. I'll have it more organized than this one was. You guys, thank you so much for your love and support. And these will be getting out. And so I'm going to be putting the videos on everywhere podcasts go. So that's going to be cool. And it's going to go, I'm going to get back on the stick, making sure these get out to veteran and military places. So
That's
hope to
fantastic.
get, yeah,
That's
let's
right.
make this more professional.
All
That's
right.
the
If
goal.
anybody wants to follow me, www.brucecomedy.com. If you don't want to follow me, www.brucecomedy.com.
BruceComedy.com. Janet, do you have a website?
I have my Instagram at Janet Stewart Comedian.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Can't
And
go
then-
out and I can't go in.
All right.
And
I was gonna
Helene,
ask if I could use your bathroom.
Sorry, I don't know, I can't go outside, come, I'm with you.
No, it's just that I can't get out either.
Okay, you wanna go to bed?
I'd love,
All right, good to meet you.
Awesome. Hey, real life happens, you guys. That's what it's all
Exactly.
about.
Anita,
And
when you gotta
Anita-
go, you gotta go, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
never a
yes.
dull moment. And Anita Milner, follow her on Facebook. And please, you guys, share this with one person that's military or a veteran. And that'll really help a lot. Thank you
Yes,
so
I will.
much, you guys.
Thank you, Linda. Thank
I
you
love
for
you
what
all.
you,
Thank for
everybody.
everything. Great job, Linda, Anita, Elaine, Janet, John,
Thank
Paul,
you.
George, and Ringo.
And we're back to Helene.
Exactly. All right. Thanks
That
again,
was
Linda.
fun.
You're great. Thanks for everything.
Thank you so much. I don't know. I guess I got it I don't have it on
I'll
record.
make you the can I make you the host again? I don't even know what I can do anymore.
Do you have to go,
guys.
Janet?
Thank you.
You did a lot today. You and Bruce, we did
Right.
2 shows.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah, it was great.
Have-
Yeah.
Okay, you
And
guys
that's-
have a great weekend.
Thanks, my
Thank you.
dear. Did everything. We'll be in
See ya.
touch. And Linda, we don't have to tell you how special you are. That's fantastic. Thank you for the opportunity and everything.
Yes. I wanted to get more traction and be more
Well, yeah.
professional.
Yeah, you got to start. That's all. You're doing great. You know, it just takes time. That's all. And patience, you know. And if
Yeah.
you 5 people see it and get something out of it, it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So somehow Helene got shut off. I saw that she was on, when I was the host, she was talking on the phone, and I thought it might be distracting for whoever was performing to just see her lips up near the camera.
Right.
So I hit
I'm
the
here,
button.
I'm here, I'm here.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
when you were on the phone, I think Anita was performing and you were on your phone talking, your lips were right up at the camera. So I clicked the camera button, but I didn't know it was gonna lock you out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's what happened. I didn't know it was gonna lock you. I don't know Zoom. I just thought it was, you could come back in when you're ready. And I
You don't have
asked,
to apologize.
I have to. I never meant it to be a permanent thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
good.
see if we could perform here at this place where I use the bathroom.
There
in the
you go.
bathroom.
I think we should all perform in every bathroom.
Hey, sometimes
No,
I
I'm
do.
gonna ask them, I'm gonna call them.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
I'd like to perform comedy with my friends here. Who do I talk to? We want to put on a show.
First of all, you asked for bathroom and I said to the bathroom. So now, you have to go there to the vision. Go out and go to the red door over there. and talk.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a vagrant. I'm gonna go into the right door and ask them if we could perform there.
What place is it?
And I
Place.
give Bruce all the gigs that are free.
All right. All right. Everything is appreciated.
Absolutely.
Any and all.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, have fun tonight
Thank you. Where are you gonna be, Bruce?
at 217 Tulip Avenue.
Helene, where are you gonna be? Remind me. Where she's gonna be at Gotham?
Gotham
I wanna
Comedy Club.
perform Comedy, put on the show.
You gotta come Monday. Do
Monday.
you know who's on the lineup at Gotham, Bruce?
What's it called again?
I can look it up.
Thank you.
Elaine probably knows.
Yeah. Helene,
Ooh, you're-
Are you
Yes,
performing tonight? Somewhere? Performing
What?
tonight? Are you performing?
I get to be on this
Thank you.
show with like 5 guys. And they're all headliners and then me doing a guest spot.
Oh,
Thank you, ma'am.
that's the one
Bye.
at Fremont Street?
Yeah. You'll have to come here and I'll show you all the clubs.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Gosh, I haven't been on Fremont Street in a long time. I saw Don Rickles on Fremont Street the last time I was there.
You didn't.
Yeah, that's how long ago it was. Kathy and I saw him. Yeah.
Wow, what was that like?
Oh, I love it. I was in the front row. Yeah. He didn't pick on me, but I almost became a hockey puck for him. Right? They call everybody a hockey puck. Fine, it's fine. What a treat. Yeah, yeah.
Helene, who's on the lineup tonight, Helene?
I forget, except for Carmen Lynch, Brian Scalero and Carmen Lynch and some other comics. And then one of them is unknown.
But unknown Tom,
Unknown yet, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
parked down the street. I thought I was parking across the street. I parked down the street, but I found a place we could perform called Celis Manor.
Nice. Well, you guys, I'm gonna go take a break. Do you want me to leave this on so you two can talk?
no, it's okay. I can call if I necessary. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much for your patience with me, you guys.
Everything's great. Thank you. Amazing. All right.
The man at the parking lot said if I give him cash under the table, he'd do me a deal because he's a fellow Rusky.
Okay, all right.
Whoa.
Sounds good. All right, gotta run.
Okay.
God bless. Love you. Take care.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.